I am DJ Nash, and in 1981, my dad got his first guide dog from the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind, and Brandy. She changed our life. That dog changed our life. I changed my dad's life for sure, but changed all of our lives. I went from being my dad's human guide dog to having to race to keep up with him. My dad went blind when he was 11 years old, and until he was around 45 or 46, he navigated the world with the help of humans, and his sight was deteriorating, and a number of things led him to make the decision to get the dog, not the least of which was his friendship with a couple fellow law students at Boston College who had guide dogs. Him seeing someone he loved and respected with a dog was, he talked about her as recently as Wednesday when we were, yeah. I'd tell you a couple quick stories about that, because one is I have a almost 5-year-old son, and the questions they ask are amazing. And I mean, I just remember when he first learned that his grandfather was blind. You know, just the association. Oh, like those 3 mice. Things like that. And so we were walking. I think this must have been a year ago. We're walking, and there was a sign, the handicap parking sign that's usually at the front of a handicap space. It's on a post, and there's a blue sign. And he said, "Daddy, what's that?" And I said, "It's for handicap parking." What does that mean, handicap? And I had to think, how do I say it in a way that lets him, it's almost, with a kid, it's like a deposition. You only answer the question that's been asked. So how do I give him the information without scaring him? And I just was stuck. And my wife walks by without she's like, "Just like Papa," and keeps walking. And I'm like, I had never thought of my dad as handicapped. He's not. He's my dad. He can't see. Yeah, can't see. But he's not handy. I was almost offended by that, because this is a man. My dad's John Wayne. He just traded in his horse for a guide dog. I think NBC is really making an effort to do shows, big heart, big funny. This falls into that. And the support I've received from the studio and the network has been phenomenal. And then I teamed up with Jason Bateman just to be an executive producer. And in hearing the story, he said, "Wait, who's playing you looking back? Who's doing that voiceover?" And I actually always thought it was, in my pitch, it was Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman, but when I went in to talk to him, I didn't want to say, "Hey, thank you." I wanted him also for his executive producing skills. But I was like, I think that might work out. I had a friend who said to me, he emailed me after he read the script. He said, "DJ, listen, I know you're not going to agree with this, but you absolutely have to do the voiceover. That is so you. There's no one else who can do that. You have to play that voiceover. I know you don't want to. I know even as you're reading this, you're saying no, but I'm telling you, please do this." And then I emailed him back, said, "Thanks for the email. It's going to be Jason Bateman." And like within seconds, I get an email back. "That's so much better." This experience has been like a college reunion or with your childhood. I mean, because the pilot itself is so close to what really happened. And there's scenes that are, there are lines, like this is not, well, I don't want to spoiler alert, but there's lines that are directly taken from events that happen. And so, although for legal reasons, this is only based on a real story. But it was amazing to go through that experience. Specifically, and it was emotionally moving in ways I did not anticipate. Perhaps the most moving experience for me was David Schwimmer directed it, and the actor playing my dad is J.K. Simmons, and the actor playing me as a kid is Eli Baker. And David Schwimmer came to me and said, "Hey, can you just help us work with how does the son guide the dad around?" So I really wanted to give them a chance to find it. So I said, "Are you sure you want me there?" I said, "We're having trouble, so come have us do this." So I watched them do it, and I thought, this is not right. It's something, I think part of it was they were new to knowing each other, so he was tentative with JK, but the grip wasn't right, so I switched the grip, and it still wasn't right. So I said to JK, I said, "Do you mind if I touch you?" And so I guided him around, and I immediately realized what was happening, and I pulled Eli aside, sometimes you give one actor a note because you don't want everybody to know the note. And I said to Eli, when you're guiding your dad around, inherently you're putting him in the submissive position, but he's your dad. And and this is something I'd never realized, much less articulated, whenever I touch my dad or go to guide him, the first contact is some loving gesture. It's not, hey, come over this way. It's either a tap or a squeeze and once he did that, it unlocked it, and it's amazing to see. There's a very special scene where he reclaims that position on his dad's side, and it's great. Those guys are great.